So I'm here with Melissa and Robin, and we're going to talk about their split formative and summative assessments so that they give every chapter. So Melissa, can you tell us what is a split formative and summative assessment? Like, what is that?
So the split formative assessment, we take all the material that should be tested for a chapter. And in our curriculum, it's really spiraled. So there's stuff from previous chapters, previous courses, and we take it apart and we put all of the material that is brand new to students that chapter, and we put it in a formative assessment, which we don't give numerical scores to. We give the students feedback by like highlighting the ones that are wrong or maybe writing a little note. And then we put the material that is familiar to kids. Things in the chapter that was a review, things from other chapters, or even other courses at the beginning of the year, and we grade that just like a typical test, a score that with a numerical score that goes into the grade book.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. So Robin, why is this helpful for student learning?
I think as teachers, as math teachers, we always talk about how it's a safe place to make mistakes, and our classrooms are a safe place to make mistakes, and mistakes make your brain grow, and those incorrect answers on assessments are a stepping stone for the learning process. But without that opportunity, I feel like the students don't really buy into that. They're like, no, I really do have to get it right. And a formative assessment is that safe opportunity for them to take risks and know that they can get it wrong, it won't affect their grade, and they will have a chance to fix those and learn more. And when they do see the ones they got wrong, it does sting a little. They know that they have room to grow. They know that they have some major concepts that they need to still solidify, but they do have that safe space to do that. So
thanks. So Melissa, can you actually share, like, what does one of your formatives and / summatives tests look like?
Yeah, so this is the test we gave for chapter 1. The kids just got it back. So this is integrated 1, chapter 1 test. So the formative section, students were introduced to domain and range, writing and inequalities, functions, function notations. They were introduced to function machines. So we had some difficult concepts for function machines on their formative test. The idea of 2 inputs, the idea of not being possible for inputs. We took some material from their 8th grade curriculum that was particularly difficult, so we could see if they remember how to do it or not. And then we were able to expand on the idea of simplifying exponents in a way that isn't just having kids simplify them to see if they could or not, but actually comparing them to see if they're equivalent or not once they do simplify them. And then our summative problems, the summative part of the test, still allows kids to explain, look at reasoning, solve equations. We get some review in there. This is a new concept for them, the idea of tile patterns and writing the equations of lines and graphing it and putting it in a table. And then we were able to do some simpler function machines and some review. So this is the part that would get the score of points. And just, I mean, it's kind of funny. This is the first time kids have ever gotten the formative back, and it was really cute to see them. Well, it wasn't cute. It was as students, they get it back and it's just highlighted and they don't know what that means. The idea that all of these things they're getting wrong, which they felt like they knew what they were doing. It's just really eye-opening for kids and to watch kids see it.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's good to see what that looks like. Robin, how has this affected your own awareness of what students know?
I think it just has made me realize that they truly are still processing that new material, and they might be able to kind of regurgitate an example that they saw in the notebook or an example that we did as a class, but to apply that new knowledge to some more complex thinking problems is challenging, and they need to have that experience of this is new material, the assessment is part of the learning process, and there is always room to grow. So it's just made me aware that just because it's assessment time doesn't mean that they have arrived at mastery, and there's work to be done. So.
Yeah, that's great. So Melissa, you were talking a little bit about how it helps students. How does this help you give students feedback?
Well, I know when I first started teaching, it was such the idea that we had students do homework and then we checked the homework next day. And we spent so much time going over homework answers so we could see who got it, who didn't get it. I would spend every test, we would take a day and we would do review to make sure that kids understood. And this was kind of the way that we formatively assessed them. And this takes all that away. We can post homework scores or homework answers and kids can check that, but they still don't really know if they grasp the concept. And as teachers, we still don't know. I mean, we have close to 40 kids in the class. How can we see what they all know and they don't know? So this allows us time for us as teachers to understand what they know and they don't know, and for students to understand what they don't know and what they know. Like I was saying before, a lot of kids were really surprised that they missed things on the formative section because they were so confident doing their homework that they could get it right. And when they didn't, it was very much aha moments of all those little mistakes that students make. That's the difference between understanding a concept and mastering a concept.
Thank you. So I'm going to have you both answer. I used to think blank, but now I think blank. And Robin, I'm going to go ahead and have you go first.
All right. So prior to using the summative formative split assessment, I used to think that the students wouldn't really buy into the formative part. Like they would take the summative part seriously, but because the formative part was ungraded, they just maybe wouldn't take it seriously. But after, witnessing them do it, I can see that they really are trying, and they really do see the value in having that freedom to make the mistakes. They know when they see it that they need to improve. So I've been really pleasantly surprised with how invested they are, even though it's not going on their report card.
Yeah, that's great. They're doing it for the learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Melissa, I used to think blank, but now I think.
I used to think that formative assessment was just about helping students on their path to mastery of content. But now I think that it's much more than that. It allows students to take chances. A lot of kids are scared of getting wrong and they don't want to start. So it gives them a place where it's a testing environment, but it's very low risk and high reward. So I think that translates out into all of their other classes and kind of the real world, where sometimes you have to take those risks and you might get it wrong, but you learn from it and you grow from it, and it can start in our classroom in a safe environment.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.